Appreciate you joining me today. Hope you're doing well. We're going to be looking at the account of the foolish farmer today. Our hymn is When My Love to Christ Grows Weak.
When my love to Christ grows weak, when for deeper faith I seek, then in thought I go to thee, Garden of Gethsemane. Then to life I turn again, learning all the worth of pain, learning all the might that lies in a full self-sacrifice.
Appreciate it, Lee. To our passage, Luke 12, verse 13. Then one from the crowd said to him, Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me. But he said to him, Man, who made me a judge or an arbitrator over you? And he said to them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he possesses. Then he spoke a parable to them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully, and he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, since I have no room to store my crops? So he said, I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there I will store all my crops and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, Fool, this night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So is he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. What we're going to be doing over the upcoming days. Yesterday we looked at Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus, and Martha, of course, distracted with much serving. We're going to look at a number of the parables, just in thinking about what Mary, just thinking about Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus and listening to the Lord. So we're just going to look, and I understand we've moved on from that account, but we're just going to be sitting at the feet of the Lord ourselves and listening to the parables. So, someone comes to Jesus and says, what's he say? Tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me. Yeah, verse 13. So that's the setup for this parable. Now, what points might we make? Let's start in verse 21. So is he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. I think the main point is, of course, as Jesus said, man's life does not consist of what he possesses. The man was selfish. The foolish farmer, he's selfish. He only consults himself. Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. And we can easily become selfish. And just think about ourselves. And maybe even thinking about our needs or thinking about our wants, our desires. And it's just selfishness. It's love of money, love of the world, love of other things. Selfishness, pure and simple. Covetousness, as Jesus talks about. Covetousness is idolatry. And so we need to be real careful to not be selfish. The Lord, if you wanted to say, okay, what does it mean to be a Christian? And you think about the royal commandment, love the Lord thy God and love your neighbor as yourself. But it moves you beyond self to loving others, loving the Lord, loving your neighbor. And so the Lord wants us to be selfless. If any man desires to come after me, let him take up his cross and follow after me. Second point, the one in the red. God said to him, Fool, this night your soul will be required. We always need to remember the frailties of life. And that man's life is like a vapor. It's not very long. Maybe it's 70, but maybe not. We don't know. Time and chance happen to all man. And the race is not always to the swift. And so we recognize those things, they are not within our power. They're in God's power. And so this man thought he had many years, and he only had a few hours. This night your soul will be required. To the passage in the yellow. Take your ease, eat, and drink merry. Pardon me. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. And I wanted you to consider, remember how the whole thing starts. The man wanted his inheritance. Pardon me for bumping the camera once again. The man wanted his inheritance. Well, why did he want his inheritance? Some people, they want their inheritance so they don't have to work anymore. The Lord's not interested in laziness. He doesn't want us to be lazy. And so, the foolish farmer, I can finally stop working. The Lord's not interested in lazy. A lot of folks, they look at heaven as, oh, we'll be able to be lazy in heaven. That idea probably needs to be rethought. Because I don't think we're going to be lazy in heaven either. I think the work's going to change. But you know, before Adam and Eve sinned, there was work to do in the garden. They were put in the garden to tend it. He was put in the garden to tend it. And so I'm not sure heaven is the lazy man's paradise that a lot of folks think. So why did that man want that inheritance? We might think about laziness and work, faith and works, of course. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.